Macha, can you explain it to someone? If someone is asking, I'm asking you what is Apple Intelligence?
Yeah, so I can think of the uh, technical definition of it, like it has the ability to uh, process information locally on the device using LLMs, stuff like that. And
Yeah,
if something critical or if something necessary needs to be calculated, sometimes it sends that information or data into Apple Cloud for
mm.
processing.
Mm.
That's it, right? That's like a
Yeah.
tech.
Yeah. Like if a non-technical person is asking you about Apple Intelligence, you can't just point that is Apple Intelligence. That's not it. If someone is asking about you what is ChatGPT, you can share a URL, or you can share their parent company, or you can even share Android or iOS apps also. But the thing is, Apple Intelligence, we actually can't explain it properly
Yeah.
because it's not a single feature, it's not a single app. Like integration, right? Basically, Apple Intelligence is like, if you guys using Windows and Android, you guys are or don't need to get know about Apple Intelligence, because there is a zero chance of you guys actually using Apple Intelligence, right? If you guys can check our last episode, Kanishka did certain predictions correctly. I was like, until that moment, I wasn't thinking about that feature, but Kanishka predicted that feature, actually, Apple Intelligence. The thing is, Apple is really good with their ecosystem. They are famous with their hardware and software, right? Kanishka predicted that, imagine a situation like binding our Apple account, Apple ID, having a feature that we can like look into a document on my MacBook or mobile or iPad using a single iCloud account, like in AI part, actual assistant with, for example, if I say order me a pilau kottu, AI agent that able to open Uber Eats app and or put a order from Pilaus, is a real assistant, right? Kanishka predicted this, right? Kanishka said that with the data and information Apple had, they actually can create something like it. And even they even could put a plus sign at the end and sell it as a service, even like Apple TV Plus or Apple Music, iCloud Plus. So basically, Apple Intelligence is just that, except it processing locally,
Yeah.
right? Basically, we can't put a definition of Apple in Apple Intelligence, but we can share certain examples. What do you call? Imagine Apple actually parted Apple Intelligence into two parts: creating and generative stuff. Creative and generative stuff. Generative stuff for like image generations and emoji generation. They called it Genmoji. I don't know why they have to brand everything, but they do. But it's more interesting with creating and searching functions. Like Apple Intelligence is tying to everyone's Apple ID. If you're having an Apple ID and you are logged into your MacBook, iPhone, iPads, and every Apple device that you are using, you are basically enabling Apple Intelligence. Apple Intelligence is a really personal assistant, AI assistant with large language models. Those information, those requests we are requesting it to do are processed locally. That basically do what it basically do is they do certain personal tasks. Like if I'm asking Apple Intelligence to share me the photos last year with Kanishka, he can do that. Imagine an assistant being able to do that. At that point, I don't have to share who is Kanishka, what is my default photos application, or anything else. He just do that. If I'm asking that, yeah, I'm free, hey, I'm free on next Friday, he can do that. If I'm not using calculate, even not I'm using calculator app on my iPhone, if I'm using my calculator app on MacBook, he know where to fetch my information. That's like really personal stuff. So they're really like playing with fire. As a really privacy driven company, they are like what do you call, narrate their AI parts into really personal stuff, as they even branded that like a really personal assistant. Like last week's episode we explained that most currently available assistants are like doing certain Google searches for us. That what they basically do. If I'm asking about weather, they just do a Google search and tell us. That's not a personal assistant do, right? If I'm having a real personal assistant, if I'm asking her to do a certain booking or put a certain order, or even at a calendar event, it just do that, and it shouldn't be asking any questions regarding what app to use, if it is okay to send. They don't need any confirmation, right?
Yeah.
Because personal assistant is pretty personal. If I'm not using my for example, if I'm not using iMessage as my personal messaging platform, let's say I'm using WhatsApp, Apple Intelligence knows what I'm sharing and what the other apps I'm using. But don't take anything like don't mistake anything. Apple don't access third-party application. They just access their own Apple app for iMessage, Apple Calendar, Apple Music, Apple Notes, and everything. But for example, if Apple Notes is a really personal app, right? We don't share the notes with everyone unless we really want to. So Apple Intelligence can access those information. As I explained in the previous thing, like if I'm not using a default calendar app, but I'm using a third-party calendar app with Apple iCloud as Apple's calendar, Apple's Intelligence can fetch the events that I'm having for the next day, or if I ask about an event that happened a year ago, it should be able to tell me. Like, it's really personal. So that's basically the Apple's approach with Apple Intelligence. It's another AI, it's another assistant, but it's really personal. Like, it's not always talk back to us. It only talking part is done by Siri. So Siri is a component of Apple Intelligence. It's not the base of Apple Intelligence. So you don't need to be, every time type into or talk to Apple Intelligence. For example, they showed that if I'm, let's say, in my mail app in the Mac, if I'm mentioning about an invoice that I had from Keels, let's say, Kanishka, here with I'm attaching my Keels bill for yesterday, then Apple's mail app suggests me the Keels bill. That's Apple Intelligence doing Apple Intelligence thing. You don't have to look into anything. As they demoed, imagine like I'm not having Keels bill as an email. I'm having my Keels bill as a photo. He knows it. It can suggest you that this is the Keels bill, this is the date, so this is the yesterday's bill. You might need to attach this. It's really weird, but it's really personal. At the same time, I knew that Apple had to justify this in the point of privacy, or otherwise Kanishka will like lose his mind, lose his shit. So they did, right? The first impression as a person that didn't or haven't watched that event might lose his mind.
I haven't watched it, but I haven't watched it yet.
I'm pretty sure Elon Musk did.
Yeah.
Yeah. The thing is, Apple Intelligence is not based on Siri. So, as I explained, Siri is another party of the Apple Intelligence. Because Apple, let's say, they demoed that a person's mother is coming to visit them and they are asking Siri about what the time the flight is arriving and everything. He knows, right? All those informations are happening on device or collected on device. He can do the local stuff. Actually, with the current Siri, it's pretty much able to do certain on-device tasks, but the new Siri is like pretty intelligent. He knows that if there is iMessage related to your mother with a certain date and everything, he knows.
Mm.
In the demo, he successfully shared that your mother is coming this day at this time, like everything.